Oh wait, now I can hear you. Speak up.
Would you like a comic book?
Okay.
You can.
Who's a dove?
It's the Avengers.
Is it in mint condition? Oh no!
It was. I'm just kidding. Would anyone like a scrumpled up magazine? There's always, honestly, I say, would you like an empty box? And everyone's like, woo, give me an empty box! But there you go, you can have a magazine as well.
Anything that's free. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's quite a good magazine.
Hulk smash.
Because,
She-Hulk. She-Hulk smash.
well, you've done voice work for Marvel.
I have.
So what sort of characters have you done for Marvel? See, we're talking about Marvel comic book there.
Let's see. Years ago in Wolverine and the X-Men, I did Gambit, yeah? I did the voice of the man who do the cards. And in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I was Jarvis. Repulsors at 60%, sir. And in the current Avengers, I am the Dread Dormammu. Where's Benedict Wong?
He was here yesterday, sorry.
I will destroy him. How long is the line? Oh, that's too long.
I love the fact you can just switch on the voices like that. That wasn't a Thanos click, don't worry, he's all fine. Okay? That's about the 70th time I've made that joke and I don't regret it.
So you gotta get some rings, get some jewelry to make that joke.
Thanos would never be able to do anything. It's because the gloves broke, isn't it?
Oh my god, spoiler! He's ruining everything! And actually, he wrote the next Avengers movie.
Yeah. Why don't you go give Benedict some ideas and I'm sure he can sort something out there. But that was an evil laugh.
Oh, I do those too.
Come on, what's the most evil laugh you can do?
Well, it's not my laugh, but I worked on a series called Samurai Jack.
I don't think anyone's heard of it. Has anyone heard of Samurai Jack?
And I have to say that my friend who's passed on now, Mako, played Aku. He had the best evil laugh in the world. It was so funny that not only would it sound evil, but it went on forever. To the point where when we were recording, Gendy Tartakovsky and I would listen to him laugh, and he'd keep going, and we'd look at each other and say, hello. But yeah, it was like, well, samurai, I will destroy you.
Please breathe.
And we just keep going.
Honestly, you've got such a repertoire of voices. How do you remember them all and get the right tones? Does it just come naturally, or just...
Well, it's funny, I don't really know the voice until after the cartoon is done. Because to me, the character isn't complete. I mean, the voice is only, at most, a third of the character. You know, there's the writing, there's the voice, and then there's the animation. And until they're all together, I don't know the character. And it's weird, the first year, because it takes about a year for them to finish animating, you know, one of these shows. For the first year, they're like, all right, we're gonna do this character. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what does he sound like? Can you have a recording? You know, thankfully they record everything.
It's always handy for when they make this.
Exactly. But by the time the first episode comes out, it's like, oh, Hermes, yes, oh, now I know that guy. That's easy.
That is amazing. Well, seeing we've mentioned that character, Futurama.
Yes. Has anybody here watched Futurama? You have very good taste, people. Although the character was not actually Jamaican when we started. Before he was just an overweight accountant character who was just sounding kind of nerdy. And they're like, that's not that funny. And they're thinking, what can we do to make him more interesting? What if the accountant was Jamaican? And then Matt Groening came to me and said, hey Phil, can you do a Jamaican accent? And when the creator of the show asks you if you can do a different accent for the character, the answer has to be yes. Or else they'll find someone who can.
That's a life lesson, to do what the boss says.
Exactly. Yes, I can do a Jamaican accent, sure. Give me 5 minutes. Google.
and then he said Google that Futurama, even though it was prematurely cancelled, I think, I don't know about you guys, it has
Twice.
Yeah, that's true, twice. But it's the fans that brought it back the second time as well.
Absolutely.
What?
Yes, the people at Fox realized, wait, they're buying the DVDs? You mean we left money on the table? Ah! Quickly, put out more!
What was it like knowing that the fans had such an impact on bringing back the series?
Oh, it was amazing because initially when the show was on Fox, Fox didn't love the show. They sort of poo-pooed it. It's like, well, that's not a Family Guy. You know, that's not, The Simpsons again. We want another Simpsons. That's just some weird science fiction show. So they just sort of threw us aside. But it was so amazing to see the people. It's like, no, we want this. And I think it's because animation fans are amazing and sci-fi fans are doubly amazing. So when you get them both together, it's like, this is an animated sci-fi show. People were in love with it. And it finally proved, and it's wonderful to see corporations actually make something good, because people want it. And yeah, we were very excited.
The one thing I loved about Futurama, I know it was more of a comedy, but it really kind of had an emotional impact on the characters and relating to them. I still haven't recovered from the dog episode.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Do you all know which one I mean? When he's waiting for him. And my daughter watched that for the first time last year, and I was like, oh my god, we're up to that episode. Do I skip it? Do I not? But to have that emotional impact from an animation just kind of shows how everyone was involved with the show.
It's amazing, because I've had people come up to me and say, I've watched every episode of Futurama 8 times, except that one. I can't watch it. Although the ones that really get me are the Fry Leela Unrequited Love episodes. Every time he doesn't get her, it breaks my heart. And he keeps not getting her. Until our 4th last episode ever. Then, as of now, as far as the continuity is concerned, they are together in a time loop forever. Until the show comes back, and then they have to break up.
No, don't say that. We've just recovered. And talking about shows that came back as well because of DVD sales and everything, Family Guy.
Yes.
Family Guy, you're involved with that as well.
Yes.
You've been in some great. Is it because of you the shows are so great?
I began to think, because I did the very first, before the first episode of Family Guy, I sat down with Seth MacFarlane and Alex Borstein, and we recorded a 15-minute thing for him to present to Fox. And that's what sold the show. And then the show got canceled and came back, and then Futurama got canceled and came back. I'm like, what do these two things have in common? I think I'm magic.
So basically, if you want your show to survive, they sign you up for voice work.
Well, it used to be that way. Now they bring shows back from the dead because as far as I know, I was never on Full House. But it's back anyway.
Yeah, lots of shows seem to do that at the minute, but it's good. It's fun. That's the thing. It's fans that make these sort of events. They make the shows and everything like that, and that sort of impact. And you seem to have a lot of fans here. Is anyone a fan?
Thank you.
Really? They can do better than that. Is anyone a fan? They need waking up. It's Sunday. They're like, oh my god.
They've all just come from church.
Now. You've won 2 cans of Coke. Is it all the sugar and the Coke Zero that's really got you through the day?
I think you need to watch your back. He's gunning for your job.
I think he's just gunning for me. He's got some sass. I like it.
I've also had 2 packets of sweets this morning.
You've had 2 packets. He's fine. I don't mind. He's had 2 packets of sweets. Anyone else had some sweets today? 2 Nutella bars. Anybody else beat 2 Nutella bars? Anybody?
5 crunchies.
5 crunch. Well, that's just sick.
Anybody who goes past that is probably sitting in a coma somewhere. It's like, I have 7.
Do you have a sweet that's your vice? A sweet you can't say no to. Other than 5 crunchies.
Brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts.
Ooh.
Only brown sugar cinnamon. But it's the vice that the one vice I have left is that, and I try, but I see them and I'm just like, you shouldn't eat it, you shouldn't eat it, you shouldn't eat it, I'm not gonna eat it, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm just holding it.
So what you're saying is, next time you visit us, and you better visit us, I should have some just on the seat there and see how long it takes you to eat them. Should I do that? Should I bring some in next time? And we'll just wave them in his face and see how long it takes him to crack. You know what's going to happen now? Next time you're here, you're going to have everyone coming up saying, "I've got you this," and you'll have a pile of them behind your desk.
That'll be really fun on the airplane. It's like, I need another seat because I can't check these. I need them now. Buy me.
Be honest, who's thinking about buying some for the next time we get them here? There's your supply right there.
Well, then I'll need 2 seats just because I'll be fat.
Do you have a PO box? I'm sure we could get them sent out to you.
International shipping.
All of a sudden, the shares of your Sky.
That's so funny.
I try. I fail usually, let's be honest. They're very pink. Yes! Now, before I move on, has anyone got fan questions? I'm sure we've got a few. Yeah, we'll have a lot of requests for voices, I bet, as well. I want to talk about an event that you did yesterday in Twisted Tunes.
Oh, yes.
Hey, who went to Twisted Tunes yesterday?
You get to see it? Oh, cool.
Does anyone not know what Twisted Tunes is? Be honest, hands up. It is, you are missing something special. Why don't you explain what Twisted Tunes is?
It's really fun. It's a group of us voice actors. We get together and we do a reading of a script. Yesterday we did The Force Awakens. But we don't just do the regular characters. We take all of our animated characters and impressions and anything we can think of. Like yesterday we did Force Awakens, and I think I did Rey. It's Michael Jackson. Don't worry, my parents will come back. I know it.
That is scary. That is a whole other film that I'm just unsure about right now. So what other voices did you have to do for the story?
We did, what else did we do? Yes, who do we do? General Hux. My stormtroopers are the best stormtroopers. Wait a minute, why does the one in the silver have breasts? That's weird. Let's go to the dressing room.
Is this making the Empire great again?
We are the First Order and the best order. Yes, it was weird. It was very weird.
I'm devastated because I was on here and it's like, I keep saying I want to go see Twisted Tunes because we got a preview in Birmingham and they did Harry Potter.
Yes!
And Troy did Jeff Goldblum as Snape. I believe we have that online as well, don't we? Yeah, if you go on, we have that on MCM. I think it's Twisted Tunes has a YouTube as well.
Yes.
Is the one that you did yesterday going to go online at some point?
It will. I'm not sure how long it takes them to put it up, but it's Twisted Tunes, tunes with a Z, because we hip like that. And you get some amazing sort of things. I remember one of the first ones we did Empire Strikes Back, and Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh, was there. He did Darth Vader as Winnie the Pooh. It was weird how well it worked. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Oh my god, I'm actually scared of Pooh!
That's a whole other sentence. That's a doctor's condition. Excuse me, I seem to be scared of poo.
Wait a minute. And now Ewan McGregor's and Christopher Robin. Okay, there's a mashup here.
This is the next Twisted Tunes again.
Exactly. It's like, Christopher Robin.
Where's Piglet? Oh no, Piglet, no! That'd be even worse than the dog in Futurama, wouldn't it? It's like Piglet's just in half.
No, they just make Piglet into a porg. Porglet! Somebody sell that up now! Merchandising!
Talking about that, actually, I'm sure I have something that we can give away here.
Oh, I've got something too.
Oh, even better. If I look at my little box here, yes, I have. I believe this is an exclusive, and we accidentally stole it. And I don't apologize, but we actually have the Sorcerer's Stone. I believe this was London.
Oh, the Twisted Tunes poster?
Twisted Tune.
Oh, that's hilarious. There you go, see? You've got, yes, the Jedi, the Pooh. You've got everybody there. Even Snake from Metal Gear. I love that. You guys also, just in case you need any more to give away, I have
I would love
some of those signed date by
Well, why don't we, if you're game for this, why don't we have a game of impressions? If someone thinks they can do a good impression of any character, and you can decide if you think they are worthy of one of your lovely signatures. Is anyone up for this? Does anyone think they can do? Shall I give you a really bad impression of how you can do a voice? The only voice I can do is Yoda from Star Wars.
All right.
I apologise, man. So here I go. Yes, win a signed autograph you shall from Phil LeMarr. No, thanks for the applause there. Right, wow.
Okay.
I'll tell you something. I'm not winning an autograph.
We're setting the bar very high.
The only other one I can do is a Geordie Spider-Man. Why, aye, man, go, Web, go! No, okay, I'll quit. Right, who thinks that they can do a good enough impression to get a signed Phil LeMarr? Right, young lad here, I've seen you've been giving me nothing but abuse. Come here, come here. You're gonna have to do it at the front. You're gonna work it. You stand here, and we're gonna embarrass you on YouTube as well. Now, well, you choose the impression. You can do Shadow's line from the Sonic anime that's out from years ago. That's very specific.
Oh, see, that's smart. I'm gonna do an impression that no one knows. That way they won't know how good or bad it is.
It works.
Nice,
Ready?
deep cut.
Are you ready? You're embarrassed now. Come on. We want to hear it, don't we? Right now, you are surrounded by lots of friends that want to hear you. Are you ready? Go on, go for it, little sass man.
The minute you give him that mic, you're never getting it back.
Put it this way, you can't be any worse than my Yoda. Okay, you ready? Go for it.
Chaos. Control.
That was good. Do you think that deserves an autograph from Phil? Well, you know what? You're wrong. I think it does. So I think because he's been giving us nothing but abuse and getting involved and talking about sweets, I think you get a handshake off the man himself as well.
Good job.
Because he's been a good laugh as well for all these sweets. Please clean your teeth tonight. Who else thinks that they can do a really good impression?
Someone in the back there.
I know what you're gonna do. Right, let's try someone that I know hasn't. Right, what's the impression you're gonna do? Bane. Yes, I find your lack of impression disturbing. Go on, you can do it better though. Well, in his own admittance, he said it sucked. I find your impression of Bane very disturbing. I was born in MCM. Who else thinks that they can do a really... all of these are like, pick it now! Okay, what's you're gonna do?
Stitch.
Stitch? Was that the sewing or is that the one from Disney? Disney, okay, are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
Oh,
Wow!
nice.
Come with me a second. I think that deserves an autograph as well. Wasn't that
Absolutely.
amazing? If you would like to meet Phil here?
What's your name? Nice to meet you, Scarlett.
Well, here you go, Scarlett. Wasn't that amazing? Another round of applause. There you go.
And Scarlett's never actually seen Lilo and Stitch. She just does it.
She just woke up one morning. That was amazing. I love how people can just like learn these voices and just kind of master them. What tips would you give to people if they were wanting to try and mimic some of your characters, maybe? What advice would you give to people trying to get into voice work or trying to do impressions?
Well, you know, it's funny, because impressions can actually get in the way of being a voice actor. Because a lot of times, people will just practice mimicking something, and it's not the same thing. What you want to be able to do is play the character, you know? You don't want to just do the same thing, because years ago I did a show called Ozzy and Drix. And the character...
I think they've heard of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great show. It was a show, the character was created in a movie called Osmosis Jones by Chris Rock. So I was doing a character that sounded exactly like Chris Rock. You know? Osmosis Jones, the #1 Germinator in the city of Hector. Now the thing is, to do a Chris Rock impression is fine, but after a while they started writing things that Chris Rock never did in the movie. So I couldn't just imitate him anymore. It's like, okay, in this episode, Ozzy cries. Like, well, if I was Chris Rock, I would say, I don't feel like crying. Why don't we make it do something funny instead? And they would go, okay, Chris. But when it's me, they say, no, he has to cry. I'm like,
all right, well, this is how Osmosis Jones would sound like if he was crying.
It's like, well, that doesn't sound like Chris Rock, because Chris Rock wouldn't do it. But that's the trick, is being able to play the character more than just do the impression. So if you do impressions, that's great as a way to learn your voice and the difference between your voice and, somebody like Keanu Reeves. What is the difference between Phil LeMarr and Keanu Reeves? They're kind of the same, but they're very different, dude.
You've got to do his catchphrase.
Whoa. This car won't stop. But the thing is, once you get the voice down, then you got to be able to play it. That's Greg Baldwin took over for Mako in Samurai Jack. And Greg does an amazing impression of Mako, but what he did was he didn't just stop with the impression. He went ahead and played the character. Like if someone takes over for Hamlet, they don't I'm gonna do Ralph Fiennes' Hamlet. No, you play the character, That to me is the best thing. Learn your voice, and then make sure you can play the emotions, make sure you can act. Because they say voice acting, but actually the acting comes first. But it sounds weird to say acting voice. I do acting voicing. That doesn't sound.
It sounds like you're trying to go acting voice, activate.
Well, I was Jazz on Transformers, so I can do a robot voice too.
You just do it so well. Shall we do some fan questions? Does anyone have any questions? Oh, gentleman right in the middle here. Let's run over. What's your question?
Well, hi Bill.
Hey.
I just say thank you because you've been a massive part of mine and probably many other people's childhood. So thank you so much for that.
No, thank you for watching.
It's amazing.
And for not watching the really bad stuff.
Well, my question is just about Samurai Jack and basically earlier voice acting, career, I guess.
Right.
What was it like back then? And I guess mainly about Samurai Jack. What was it like being in a show of that caliber?
It was interesting because I was relatively new to voice acting. I'd started out on camera doing Mad TV and bunches of other on-camera shows. And when I started out, I remember I didn't know the difference. And I remember one time I did a line and they said, okay, we need it again, angrier. And I did it again, I thought angrier. They're like, we're gonna play that back for you. And it sounded exactly the same. I realized I just made an angrier face. And I had to learn, no, there is something you do, to express what you're expressing just vocally, as opposed to, you can show your whole body. Like, you guys can see me, and you can see all the expressions, and, but if I were to turn away, how would you know? Am I happy, or am I sad? And I have to be able to express all of those things just with sound, But working on things like Justice League and Samurai Jack and Futurama is about the best way I could have started a voice acting career, because I was working with the best writers and the best stories, and I'm like, oh, that helps. Because when you have great writing, it makes your acting really good.
Brilliant, thank you for that. Right, we have another fan question here.
Hello again. So you play a lot of heroes that are really inspiring, but you've also played villains. Which one do you prefer acting as?
I don't know what you mean. I would never play a villain. Sorry.
That's not an answer, though.
Well, that's for the Metal Gear fans.
Is there any here? I just didn't hear it. Oh, look at that right there!
Which do you prefer, my queen? The bad or the good?
I like a bit of both.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
So...
It got hot in here, didn't it?
I feel a bit awkward right now. Fan question right at the front here. I'll run down. Here we go. And your question, please.
How does it feel to return to Samurai Jack after being
away for 14 years?
Yeah.
It was a dream come true. We had, it was a show that needed an ending. I mean, it says it in the song. Gotta get back to the past. He's gotta get back. It just makes sense. And for years, I knew that Gendy wanted to finish the story. And then finally, they announced it. It's like, Samurai Jack is coming back for a 5th season. So my first reaction was like, oh my God! And then my second reaction was like, no one has mentioned it to me. Am I being replaced? And I mean, which is a legitimate fear. So I actually Facebook stalked Gendy's wife and said, hey, I hear the show's coming back. That'll be a lot of fun. Do I have a job? She said, of course, here. And Gendy called me and said, of course, we can't do the show without you. So, which they could have, but he chose not to, which I'm very, very thankful for, because working on a show of that caliber with creators who are just a genius and also great collaborators and kind people, that's the best thing you can hope for in this business. You know?
So the tip from that is, if you Facebook stalk people's wives, you get more jobs.
Well, if you did the job 14 years ago, yes.
Noted. Right, next question.
Hi Phil, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. My question is, what, where and how do you get into voice acting?
How did I? That's an interesting question. Because there are two answers. My very, very first professional job was on a cartoon called the Mr. T cartoon. And so weirdly, my first job in show business was a cartoon voice. Not a good one. It was basically just me talking, acting badly on a show that was a bad Scooby-Doo ripoff. Mr. T, for those of you who haven't seen it, which hopefully is all of you, Mr. T was the coach of a gymnastics team that, because Mr. T, gymnastics, right, okay, that traveled around solving mysteries, like gymnastics teams of children often do. It made no sense. And there was a bulldog with a mohawk. But my real start in voice acting was on Mad TV. We used to do these claymation animated pieces, and they had the cast voice the characters. And that's where I really learned to act onto a microphone and create characters. Although we were in sketch, you also do a lot of character stuff anyway, you know. And from there, after I left Mad TV, I said, you know what? I think I like doing this. I'm gonna see what I can do to really pursue it. And, was able to make a living of it. Knock on all sorts of materials.
Okay, I'll just run back across here.
Sorry guys, just squeeze through that.
And your question, please.
What's your favourite character you ever played?
Gosh. That's so hard, because I've been so lucky. I mean, to try to pick between the Green Lantern, the Samurai, the Jedi, or the Bureaucrat, I kind of can't, because all of those experiences have been so great, and those shows are so much fun to do. So honestly, my favorite job is the next one. Whatever that will be.
So whose wife did you book for that?
Are you married?
Not anymore by the sounds of it. As a follow-on to that, is there any voices which you find particularly tough to do at all?
That's an interesting question.
The vamp voice is a very difficult one, because it's almost as if there is no air.
But after a while, you figure out, where the voice lives in your throat or whatever. Trying to think if there's one that's super hard. I don't know. I suppose
There's a robot preacher from Futurama, which is a lot of fun to do. But I guess if I had to do it for a long time, that might hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's sort of one of the tricks of the trade is don't pick a voice that hurts. Because the last thing you want to do is have them say, oh, that was so great. 5 more.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Right, we have a question right at the front here.
Are you the one who voice Cyborg from Teen Titans Go? Because it says it on that sheet over there.
Oh, this one? No, I wasn't in this one.
That was Kyrie Payton.
Yeah, that's Corey Payton who does Cyborg. And if he's sick, I can fill in.
Where is he? He's bigger than me. Don't tell him I did that.
I think he's in the other bay, don't worry.
Okay.
We'll have words with him. Any more fan questions? Oh, you got a fan? Well, that makes it easier for me.
Is there anybody any character that you would have loved to have got? You know, another guy's character. Is there anyone who you go, I wish I'd have got that job?
You know, that's really weird that you say that, because one of the characters was the character that Corey Payton plays on Young Justice, Aqualad. And I remember auditioning for it and thinking, I did a really good job, and I didn't get it. But then I heard Kari's audition, and I was like, oh, that's why. No, the truth is, voiceover is about the fairest realm in show business. Anytime I hear someone else got a job, 99% of the time I know they're better than me, you know? And that's why it's hard to say, like, oh, I mean, like, as a comic book fan, Batman is my totem character, you know? And so, you know, on a certain level, I would love to be Batman, but at the same time, I've worked with Kevin Conroy, and Kevin Conroy is Batman. Like, if I were ever to play Batman, I can't think of a voice that's better for Batman than his. I would just end up doing Kevin. And it's like, why? Just hire Kevin. You know? Which is what we do in voiceover. Like, if you know there's somebody else who can do something better than you, it's like, you know what? You know who would be great for this job? You know, D. Bradley Baker. Call him. Because there's enough to go around. I don't need somebody else's job.
Awesome, I think we've got time for one more question. We'll jump across here. It's a bit hard to see there to Man in Black. Okay, what's your question there?
All right, so throughout your whole voice acting career,
this is going to be a long one.
Can you tell us your favorite or most notable behind-the-scenes moment?
Behind-the-scenes moment? That's interesting. I don't think there's any one specific moment that stands out, just because, like I said, I've been lucky enough to work with amazing, amazing people. There's, although one thing that's interesting is the behind the scenes that is the dirtiest are on the little kids cartoons. Because there's something about, if you're doing Clifford the Big Red Dog, when the microphone stops, you just want to go the other direction. Although, as far as specific moments, there was one that stands out. There's a man named Frank Welker, who is a legend in voiceover. He was Megatron. He's been the voice of Freddy on Scooby-Doo since the first episode of Scooby-Doo in 1969, and he can basically do anything. There was a show that he and I worked on together called Evil Con Carne, where
I was the voice of Hector Con Carne, an evil scientist who wants to take over the world.
But Hector was a disembodied brain on the body of a dancing circus bear. Funny and talented. We should do an episode where, you know, everybody just improvises and makes it up. And then the producer listened to him. And one day we came in, it's like, oh, we didn't get a script. It's like, oh yeah, there isn't one. And he just gave us a list of scenes. Like, you guys are gonna make up all the dialogue. Frank thought it would be a good idea. It's like, that's because Frank don't have no dialogue. Frank just gotta do bear noises. We all have to do all the talking. So, as we're doing the scene, in an effort to sort of get back at him, I said, Boskov, I want you to take those 5 chainsaws, juggle them in the air, then cut down all of these trees, and then run back to me. Knowing that there's no way you can make the sound of that, except if you're Frank Welker. He then proceeded to make a sound that when you heard it, all you could say was like, oh my God. That's the sound of a bear juggling chainsaws and running with them back. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And no, he didn't make any chainsaw sounds, just the sound of a bear juggling. I'm like, That's what it would sound like if a bear juggled chainsaws. This is hubris, writ large. I have challenged the gods and lost.
I hate to say this, but we're actually out of time.
Oh.
Hasn't it been an awesome panel, though?
Thank you guys so much.
We'd love to see you back at MCM in the future. You've been absolutely great laugh, and thank you for doing all the voices for everyone as well.
Of course.
We'll be looking out for Twisted Tunes online, won't we? And I bet you, who's going to go to Twisted Tunes in the future at MCM?
And if there are any questions we didn't get to, we'll be back downstairs signing pretty soon? Oh, after this. Not downstairs, upstairs? Across
just to the right there.
Across
Yep.
the way.
Yep, so head across to the autograph booth. You've got a good half an hour, 40 minutes to get your last minute autographs. And as you can see, he's an absolutely amazing guy. Let's hear it for Phil!